have not ate in 5 days. It is the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of my kids. My cash benefits is not coming no more. They're still pending. It is the taxpayer's job to pay for my kids to eat and for my kids to be taken care of.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Today, we're going to talk about a few things, man. Had to start it off right, man, with that little clip. That shit was funny as hell, because this is how people in America today truly feel. They feel as though that they supposed to just be given everything, and they don't got to work for nothing. And it's really sad, man, but, you know, it's honestly the results of the Democratic Party, bro. And it's ultimately the reason why the government shut down. And everybody want to, you know, make Trump look like he's the bad guy and all of this because, you know, he made a lot of revisions with welfare and different things. But listen, man, he trying to hold people accountable, man. I don't see nothing wrong with it. But, you know, we're going to get into... So today, we're going to talk about, obviously, the shutdown. We're going to run some poll numbers that CNN dropped. So, you know, if you're not a Fox guy, then maybe you'll at least accept the CNN polling. Then we're going to get into, so I played the joint on LV Nation yesterday, Candace Owens, dropping that bombshell text thread with Charlie Kirk and like 9 other people, or 8 people, I think it was. And so there's a guy, I'm not sure his name, but he's from Turning Point USA. You know, they're the ones that's keeping Charlie Kirk's show still going. And he spoke about it. And so we're going to get into that. And then I'm going to tap in with Young Turks. They had a whole little segment, you know, following all of this. So before we get into that, we're gonna play a few things with all right, before we start, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Your boy is on the road to monetization, man. Somebody took their subscribe back yesterday, and I was upset about it. It's a little sad about it. Just playing. I appreciate everybody who has hit that subscribe button because, you know, it tells me I'm doing something right. So if you fuck with the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy drop a dope video. Let's get into this first, John. So they, you know, you probably seen this, but they keep saying that they don't want, that, you know, they'll try to play with the language, like I said in a previous video. But this is proof that they all want, you know, health care for illegal immigrants. But I think it's more than that. They want to get this, they want a certain amount of funding. You know, all of these states get certain amounts of funding from the federal government. And they need this certain amount of money because they know, you know, it's not all going to go to the cause. And that's the whole point of all this. I think they're really mad. I think Democrats are really mad at the fact that they can no longer just rob the taxpayers anymore. And that's what it all boils down. That's how I view it. That's how I look at it. But let's play this clip of this is a Democratic debate that they had, and they was asked this question.
A lot of you have been talking tonight about these government health care plans that you've proposed in one form or another. This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Hold up. Now look at this stage right here. Who do you notice on there? Oh, Bernie. Who that? Joe Biden. And a few other nobodies. But they all, there she go. I was looking for you. Kamala Harris. See, they be lying, bruh. They be lying. Every single one of these Democrats raise their hands to give healthcare to illegal immigrants. So when they say to the American people that it's illegal to give healthcare to illegal immigrants and all of this fake shit, this is how they truly feel right here. Mind you, one thing that we know about the Democratic Party is that they stick together on every issue, whether it's good or bad. And this is not a good issue. And every single one of them raised their hands.
Okay. Let me start.
Now, I just wanted to play that clip real quick. Now I want to get into these, let me see. I want to get into these poll numbers from CNN because it's not looking good. And you would think hearing these poll numbers, because this is what they thrive off of. This is what they build off of. So you would think seeing these poll numbers for a long time now that are not in their favor, you think that they would, change course and say, we need to do some different things and just be real. But they're so fake, they can't help but be in the fucking way, bro. And that's all it boils down to. Let's get into this.
All right, this morning, if it is on social media, it must be true. Okay, maybe not. But there are some new trends on who is getting what news from where on social media. And for that, CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton. Really interesting trends that you picked up on here. Let's start with the who is getting their news from social media in general now versus a few years ago.
I just want to note that if I say it on social media, John, it's 100% true.
Totally.
You can trust everything, including that the New York Yankees stink. But take a look here. I think this is a very clear shift. I would argue it's a monumental shift because traditionally speaking, folks who got their news off of social media were Democrats. You go back to 2021.
My bad. Let me see something real quick.
From tariffs to immigration crackdowns, as the topic was just there, President Trump has spent the first 8 months of his presidency making good on some of his campaign promises. So what do voters think about it, and how could this impact the midterm elections to come? Harry Enton is crunching the numbers on this one. He's here with us now. Harry, it's been almost 1 year since the election. Well, how are voters feeling right now about the president?
Sometimes I think it's worth taking that 35,000 vote view. And as far as the American people are concerned, Trump could be better known as Steady Eddie. What are we talking about here? Well, why don't we take a look here? Favorable view of Donald Trump. You go back to October of 2024, 44% of the American public viewed him favorably. Now, despite everything, look at this, 43%, which is well within the margin of error of that 44%. And here's the thing to keep in mind. This was good enough to get Trump reelected back in 2024. And Donald Trump is basically at the same point here right now, which I think would surprise a lot of folks, especially a lot of folks on the left who very much disagree with a lot of what Donald Trump has done.
But what do you see is underneath that and driving that? Why is he basically the same?
Okay, to quote the esteemed caller Dennis Green, the former head coach in the National Football League, Donald Trump is who the voters thought he was. What are we talking about here? Well, is Trump doing what he promised in the 2024 campaign? Yes, 52%. The majority of Americans say that Donald Trump is doing what he promised compared to 48% who said no. So what essentially is going on?
So when they say shit like, Donald Trump, this is the thing, they try to play on words and it blows my shit. Donald Trump has said, we're going to lower the cost of, goods and shit, like lower the cost of living and things like that on day one. But isn't like the way they frame it is if they think that people are supposed to believe that Donald Trump was supposed to lower prices on every single thing on day one. Exactly. Like and then they'll go and tell their constituents and others that, oh, he's lying. He's a fraud. He's a liar. When he literally, he's the first president. Now, mind you, I haven't really watched, politics before this last campaign, to be honest with you. So I can't really speak on it. But from what I see, he is one of the most authentic presidents that we have ever had. You know, everything that he said he's going to do, he be doing. Like, so you got to respect that. That's what
the voters expected all of this from Donald Trump. The majority did, and that is why his favorable rating, simply put, has not really moved all that much compared to where it was a year ago. Trump is basically doing what the American people thought that he was going to do. Indeed, if you look at the numbers, Trump has basically the steadiest favorable rating this much through a presidency of any president on record, and it's basically where he was a year ago, good enough to get him reelected.
So then what are you saying is how this is impacting midterms?
Yeah, okay, so one of the questions we basically had as we've gone on through the numbers, right, is that Democrats have not been able to run away with it, and now we know it's basically because Donald Trump is where he thought he was, which was good enough for the Republicans to maintain control of the House last time around. Look at this, the race for Congress, Dems versus Republican margin. You look at the New York Times poll, it was tied a year ago at this point. Now it's Democrats +2 within the margin of error. Look at Yahoo YouGov. It was +3 Democrats at this point a year ago. Now it's +4. Maybe the Democrats have gained a little bit, but in reality, Kate, what we're really seeing is that the American public is pretty much steady. They are basically where they were a year ago at this point. Maybe Democrats can take control of the House where the polling is right now, but maybe not, because the bottom line is we've seen numbers fairly similar to what we have right now. We had it a year ago, and it was not good enough for Democrats to take control. The bottom line is this: as long as Donald Trump is where he is, Republicans will, in fact, remain competitive. If they, in fact, gain a little bit, it really would not be that surprising to me if Republicans were able to maintain control of the House, especially given their redistricting efforts in many of those states.
Fascinating. It's a really good look, Harry. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kate.
From tariffs.
So it ain't shocking, to be honest with you. People ain't fucking with the Democrats, bro. Let's just be honest, but they not fucking with them. And it's because they lie so fucking much. It's like ridiculous. But I guess that's just the nature of being a politician. Anyway, man, let's watch this quick video with Speaker Johnson and these nutballs. Look at this guy. God damn, this nigga look like Freddy Krueger. God damn. Motherfucker ugly as shit. Sheesh. Anyway, let's get into this video. This was Speaker Johnson and them, I guess somewhere in Washington, negotiating or talking some shit.
We're here to talk about the health care of millions of Americans just being driven off a cliff. And the reason this is going to happen is because the guy who works in this office right here is keeping all of his Republican colleagues in his caucus on an extended summer vacation. He will not come back to negotiate with us. We are ready. Ruben and I are here to talk about these issues seriously, to try to get something done, to then get the government reopened after we fix this healthcare crisis.
Oh, hey, gentlemen. Hey, Speaker. Appreciate it. Good to see you all. Hey, so his Congresswoman and a friend of ours, we're waiting.
Yeah, reopen the government so we can get back to work.
I mean, but this excuse just keeps on moving.
Yeah,
no, it's not great if you want representation.
Not last week.
There's 750.
Wait, let me answer the question. We're happy that she got elected. She's filling her father's seat. That's fantastic. We have a long tradition here and a process of how we administer the oath to a member. You know, you served here for a while. We're going to do that as soon as we get back to work, but we need the lights turned back on, so we encourage both of you to go open the government. So I am anxious to administer the oath to her.
How much is this?
As soon as you guys vote to open the government.
You don't want to be on the Epstein discharge. How much?
It's totally absurd. You guys are experts at red herrings and distraction. No, there's nothing to do with Epstein.
What the fuck, bro? What the fuck does Epstein have to do with opening the government back up? Bro, yo, they'll do and say anything, bro. They'll do and say anything. Listen, I don't even know why people are still stuck on the Epstein thing. If they wanted, obviously, bro, there's shit in these Epstein files that Democrats and Republicans don't want to get out for whatever reason, right? They'll say, oh, it's because Donald Trump. But if that was come on, bro. Like, just use your fucking head. If they had anything in there on Donald Trump, that could have hurt him, they would have used it when they was going after him, trying to bankrupt him, kill him, all types of shit. They would have used it. It would have helped them. It would have benefited them. They had all of these same files when Joe Biden was in office and Kamala Harris and their whole administration. So, bro, it's just a talking point. It's just something that they could clickbait and use and say, oh, Donald, they're not opening the government because of Jeffrey Epstein. Like, this shit sounds stupid as hell. It's ridiculous.
The House Oversight Committee is working on the Epstein files right now, releasing 34,000 pages and more on the way.
I know she's key to
Let me
that.
finish. The House Oversight
Just
Committee.
keep coming up with excuses. This is an excuse, so she doesn't sign on to that.
I know why you're upset.
Mike,
You get a lot of heat because the government is closed down and you guys
Well,
made the decision.
Actually, no.
You wait,
Mike,
you
I
made
got
it
a-
5 times
Mike,
to
I
keep the
got a
government
request.
closed.
I got a request.
Yes.
Why don't we do this? Why don't you bring back your Republican members so we can have a serious negotiation with
We're
them
going to have plenty of
about-
negotiations as
Well,
soon as you open the government.
Why don't we
Let me tell you why they're not here, because the House did its job. Oh, hey, Mike.
They did their job.
They did their
They
job.
are sitting in their basement.
Come here, Mike Lawler from New York, tell
With
them.
all due respect, you voted multiple times to keep the government shut down, okay? The Republican members from Arizona voted to keep the government open.
They did.
So don't sit here and try to lecture us about whether or not we did our
Yeah, I like this type of shit. Yeah. They don't fucking try to lecture us about this goofy shit, though. We're not trying to fucking hear that shit.
job. We did our job. You did not.
Well, you're not doing your job.
Oh, you mean the bill that I'm signed on to extend it? Oh, yeah, cute, right, because you know what? We actually have put forth legislation to do it. You guys just keep pontificating. How about you go down the hall and go vote to open the government up? That would be great.
Guys, we got to get the government open and turn the lights on so we can get everybody back here and get the regular session.
Stop covering up for the pedophiles.
There's not, that's ridiculous.
Nobody's covering up for pedophiles.
You
Knock
know,
it the hell off.
she knows, you know
you're
that she is
absolutely
the,
absurd.
you know
Okay,
she is
I'm
the
going to get
vote.
back to work. These gentlemen had a publicity stunt here. You see the issue. They need to go and vote to reopen the government.
Get your
Plain and
people back.
simple.
Get your
The
people
House has done its work. Every single Republican in the House but one voted to keep the government open, to make sure TSA agents, Border Patrol agents,
And even if they
the
do
troops
anything,
and everybody
they're
else
not
away.
here next week, even if we strike a deal. You
And the
gotta get them
Democrats
back.
have voted repeatedly to keep the government closed. Plain and simple. That
Premiums
is the
gonna go
issue.
up.
First things first, open
Premiums
the
are gonna
government.
up.
We'll get back to
Mike,
work.
you're
Thanks
gonna-
thanks for
Can
visiting.
I ask you one
Premiums are gonna up.
Thank you, sir.
I liked it that. Yeah, he rolled up like, pussy, watch your mouth. Don't try to fucking tell us anything. Y'all voted to keep the government closed, sucker. That's all I heard when they was talking. I heard sucker. You was a fucking sucker. They keeping this shit closed. Bro, it's all a game, bro. And like, for real, though, what does that, just tell me, what does the Jeffrey Epstein shit got to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? I don't get it, bro. Everybody is so, it's that whole Jeffrey Epstein thing be blowing my shit. Like, bro, they literally had the lawyers who represented the victims who said that Donald Trump was net positive in helping them in the case. He was more of an informant, really, that helped them. He said he was one of the few who actually sat down with them unlimited time to answered any questions that they wanted. This was coming from the lawyer of the victims. If all the people that I've heard talk about this who actually are like have something to do with it have said that, you know, Donald Trump doesn't have anything to do with it. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't like for instance, like Bill Clinton was actually on a plane or something with kids or something like that. I forget exactly what it was. But they were saying, like, you know, I think even the victims even said that, you know, they never seen or, you know, was there. Donald Trump never was involved with nothing. So my thing is this, though. Like, what the fuck does it have to do with opening the government back up, though? It has nothing to do with nothing. It's just a stunt. This is what they do, bro. They just act. It's theater. They just want to put shit out there so people can clickbait it, you know, all their little social media pushers. That's all it is, bro. Shit is just a show, bro. These people are weird, bro. Just weird individuals. Like, this shit is having real consequences for people. and all they want to do is lie, bullshit. And dog, listen, when you're just never going to win another election. Like, this is what it boils down to. They really think, bro, it's 2025. Technology is at its highest. You no longer can just lie and bullshit to people, bro. You just can't. You can have all the people out there you want, doing clickbait like they did with the Russia hoax and, the what was it, the fucking other hoax with the fine people hoax. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have people click shit up and make it sound good and all that. But, bro, the truth is, all of that type of shit came out like it was debunked immediately type shit. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, does it, make a little traction? Yeah, but it doesn't really go anywhere or do anything because then people come to find out that you lied. So it doesn't make you look good. My thing is this. Where's the solutions at? I want to hear some solutions. I'm open-minded. I'm open to hear them. What's the solutions? What's the negotiating? What's the counter argument to what the Republicans are offering, which is basically the same thing that was already in place? Like, bro, these people are crazy, man. Let's get into this video with, I don't even know his name, but all I know is they are doing the Charlie Kirk show. It's him and another guy, and he talks about Candace Owens and addressing the leaked Texas. So yeah, let's get into it, man.
Part of this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange, and I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friends' trust in that way. But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect. And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently, but here we are. So one of the reasons, Blake, that I'm glad to have this now public, it was not mine to share publicly, but one of the criticisms we've received is that we don't care, we're not investigating every lead, we're not looking under every stone, and that somehow we're just sweeping things under the rug. And when I say that we want justice for Charlie more than anybody else, I really mean it. And no stone unturned. I mean, I don't know if you want to chime in on that part alone, but I have more to say.
Yeah, so it has been so frustrating to have people blow up about this. Yeah. And I've certainly stated publicly, the reason I haven't weighed in on things is I am an eyewitness to events, and they've said, don't comment on things because anything you say can mess that up. I don't want to mess up any trial for the person who did this.
That's 1,000% right. And I will say I wasn't an eyewitness.
That was kind of weird. So I understand what he's saying as far as you don't want to mess no trial up. So anything you can say, people, they can use it. Attorneys can use it. But then he says for the person who did this, as if this guy, what's his name? Tyler Robinson, isn't the guy. I don't know. Am I stretching? But that's kind of weird though, because we got the suspect, and I ran across something that said that he admitted to it at this point. So you don't want to mess it up for the guy who did it. I don't know. That was kind of weird.
I was not there. I flew to Utah immediately to be with the family and the team, but I was not an eyewitness. So there's that. But I am aware that in my role as spokesman for Turning Point USA, which is another hat I wear, that things I say, I'm cognizant of the fact that things I say could negatively impact an ongoing investigation. All right. But I will weigh in specifically on this issue of Israel, because I know there's a lot of fascination. And I just want to say that, you know, we have to let free speech be our North Star here. Okay. Charlie was adamantly free speech. And I am not personally going to impugn anybody's character who is asking questions and looking for answers. All right. And I will say that that text chain is consistent with public frustrations that he voiced many times. And I know, Blake, you were in the trenches on a lot of this stuff because we were workshopping how we were going to do the tour and what we was, you know, he's going to get asked about Israel, what was he going to say. And this is consistent with things that he told his friends, people that are, you know, in the wider movement, about his wrestle that he was going. And so I just want to say, like, what is the truth about the way Charlie felt about Israel? Well, it's complicated and it's nuanced, and it was a wrestle that was going on for months, and it's probably somewhere between the BB letter and the text group text.
I don't even think there's a between about it. I think those are entirely consistent with the exact same worldview. Yes. Charlie was not hiding things from people. People are going to try to make you fixate on a particular quote or a particular line to make you think that there was something hidden. There was nothing hidden about Charlie's views on Israel. Like, Charlie, I worked with Charlie on every major issue that we talked about, you know, immigration, abortion, the transgender stuff. And he thought about the Israel issue a ton, all the time. It was in the news all the time. People cared about it a lot. He cared about it a lot. Just before the shooting happened, I finished reading, this is a 700-page book about the history of the Israel-Palestine conflict. I read this book because Charlie said, Blake, get really well-versed on this so you can help me whenever it comes up and just know stuff off the top of your head. Yeah. So I read it for that reason. If you want to know Charlie's views on the Gaza war, he wanted the war to end. He didn't want America to take Palestinian refugees. He was annoyed when people advocated that. He didn't want American troops on the ground there or with any other war. And he was upset when he saw stories about churches being damaged or Christians being killed. But at the same time, he recognized Hamas started the war. Hamas could end the war. Israel ultimately represented European civilization. Hamas represented Middle Eastern barbarism. And Hamas were the chief evildoers, and people who supported them were almost always supporting them for these bad, like, anti-civilizational reasons. Yeah. That's what his view was, and he was public about that.
Why you ain't say anti-Semitic, what you really wanted to say?
And then, as it continued, Charlie talked to young people all the time. He could see what was going on the internet. He could see among young conservatives there was a big shift to be hostile to Israel. There was a shift big time on the...
My whole thing is, why, though? Like, why do people assume that people can't think for themselves? Like, people can't do their own homework. Like, people are not intelligent enough to read between the lines or, you know, just see reality for what it is. Like, people are probably way more, like, in depth with this shit than I am. But even over just a week span, I'm like, whoa, I'm taken aback by the things that I'm seeing. And I'm like, whoa, like, these people really have their, like, hands in so much. So the pushback that Charlie was getting from students, was it called for? Of course it was. And the thing is, Charlie was coming to the realization that, that, yo, these people are right. He didn't want to probably accept it. He probably, because obviously he got these, you know, Jewish donors, these, you know, he was going to Israel, like he was doing business with these people. So I could see the conflict. But I'm going to show a video after this that kind of shows you his frustration with everything.
Left, but it was also visible on the right. He could tell anti-Semitism was rising in America, and that upset him. Charlie was public about this. He loved Israel, he cared about Israel, and he cared about how that, and he wanted to help the pro-Israel movement.
Yeah, and I want to...
Hold on, bro. I got to say one more thing, because I just don't understand. Can somebody, like, explain to me the correlation between Israel, Jews, and Christianity. Because from what I know, the Jews are the ones who helped the Romans crucify Jesus in their beliefs, their belief system. You know what I mean? On what they believe happened. So if you, I don't understand, there's so much love when Jesus in Christianity is your God, and these people historically helped crucify your God. So they love Israel so much. Why? I don't understand. I'm not saying that you should hate Jews or nothing like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't understand the correlation. When I hear, Officer Tatum, for instance, even Charlie Kirk, I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get where all of it is coming together at. At what point do these two things even mix and go together? Because I've seen plenty of videos of the hatred that Jews have for Christianity, the disrespect that they have for Jesus. So I'm trying to figure out why is it so much love for these people who don't even respect your religion, and they talk about everything from this, biblical standpoint, but it's not adding up for me. I don't understand.
It's a long clip, but I said something on the Alex Clark show that was, in my mind, completely consistent with Charlie's public views about Israel. And that is something that he expressed very publicly on Megyn Kelly. Now, I know this clip has gone viral, but I think it's worth playing again. So here's Charlie in his own words with Megyn Kelly, cut 65.
And I will say this, the behavior by Alot, both privately and publicly, are pushing people like you and me away. Not like we're going to be pro-Hamas, not like we're going to, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megyn, calling me an anti-Semite. I am learning biblical Hebrew and writing a book on the Shabbat. I honor the Shabbat, literally the Jewish Sabbath. I visit Israel and fight for it. And there's another article out in the Times of Israel today. I could read it on air. I was just reading before I got on. Charlie, what are you doing? Why are you? What am I doing? I'm sorry. Let's just take a step back here. I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megyn, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been so unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the 5th time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megyn. Not my decisions. Not hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, you saw it, Megyn. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages. And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say the people that are attacking me are in a hyper-paranoid state, because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white, and you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megyn. Literally, I'm trying to cut as much slack as I can, right? Okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's my charitable kind of overcompensation spirit. At the same time, I'm but it's not defensible to be dumb, right?
Yeah.
So,
and it's offensive. It's offensive to those of us who have been out there defending them in many instances against critics on our own side.
So this group chat text, he does say, that he's leaving him no choice but to leave the pro-Israel side. Here's what I want people to know. Charlie said these things publicly and privately to us, that he was frustrated. He would say something like that, and then he would go in a public situation and he would strike a more moderate tone. And we can blow the brakes if we have to.
No, I wouldn't frame it that way. I would say he was frustrated because he didn't like. We can get into this actually once we get past the break here.
Well,
but.
no, it's fine. What I'm saying is he would be frustrated, but like the point when I say moderate tone, when he would say something off the cuff, maybe to you or to me or to some other friend, like his public statements, he would kind of strike just a little bit more tender tone, if you will. And so here's the thing. I looked at that moment as like he's just blowing off steam. He's frustrated. He's venting, right? And I just want to say, like, you know, he made that very clear under any circumstances that he was not going to be cowed or bullied into deplatforming Tucker, for example. He made that expressly clear to us. Would he have invited Candace? I have no idea. You know, I think what he was saying in that text, he's like, keep coming at me, bro, and let's see what happens, right? And Charlie was wonderfully defiant. He was wonderfully independent, and he would not, you know, he believed in the freedom of speech, and he felt like he deserved, as a friend of Israel over many years, the right to speak out and have criticism. We're going to keep going through the break just a little bit longer, and then we'll bring in Mark Halpern.
Yeah, so it's crazy because I was just about to play that video too. I didn't know they was going to play it. But, you know, we still going to play it because I want to, this is on Young Turks, Anna Kaspera. She was talking about some shit with this whole thing. This whole situation is kind of odd though, you know. And I don't know why they're going so hard trying to make Candace, you know, and Charlie Kirk not seem like they were any type of friends. I don't know. I think that's, you know, I can see because, you know, during a time where Charlie Kirk was more pro-Israel and Candace is more not, I wouldn't say pro-Hamas, but she was more free Palestine and, you know, and more against Israel than Charlie Kirk would be. So I could see where they would have them differences and maybe weren't seeing eye to eye on that. But to say completely like they weren't able to pick up the phone and call one another, I don't believe it. I believe that, you know, and then you see how he tried to downplay the part of the text where he said, you know, I'm thinking about bringing Candace on. Like, he's trying to make it seem like, oh, you know, oh, keep playing, and I'm going to bring Candace on and really make you mad. And he's basically saying that he was wonderfully defiant. When, no, he was getting tired of them trying to control what the fuck he did. And that's what it all boils down to. Israel was trying to control. They were trying to control his show, you know? And that's the thing about having, you know, partners, donors, and all that shit. You know, his joint, I think, was a nonprofit. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that he had people donated. And it's like, I seen a clip of, and I was going to play it, but, you know, I ain't really got the time. But it goes along with this. Matt Gaetz has said, and who knows, she might even play it on this. I didn't only watch like a quick second of this, but I wanted to play it because it's interesting. But Matt Gaetz said that when he went to Israel multiple times. I played a clip where he said that he caught a guy in his room when he came there, and it was unexpected. They didn't expect him to be there, and he found somebody in his room. He didn't know who he was. He was claiming to be like part of the hotel, but he didn't have a clipboard or this, that, and the third. And then he said that that basically they get flown out. It's like mandatory pretty much for them to go to Israel. Most of these, I'm assuming Congress people and all of that, it's like mandatory for them to go. So then they go, and he said they have like a name tag on with a QR code or something, and or some type of barcode, and they had these conversations with these donors, and basically, depending on how the conversation goes, they scan your barcode and donate, you know, to the like. And Matt Gaetz was talking about, like, bro, like shit, like basically, like, bro, these people have too much influence. And I fuck with Matt Gaetz. He is one of the real ones when it comes to being transparent, keeping it real, not holding your tongue. He is one of them guys, and that's the reason why they didn't want him to be head of I think it was the Department of Defense. And that's when Pete Hegseth stepped up and, or whatever. But, bro, these people 100% have way too much influence on American policy, politics, everything. Social media, all this stuff. They really have a grip on a lot of this stuff. And I'm always just going to be like, why? Because that's like the biggest question for me is why? Why are these people so involved? I know, naturally, I know why. It's power, it's control. They want to control America. They want to control the narrative. They want to, be able to do the things that they're doing in the Middle East and not have nobody question their moral integrity about it, even though they know what they're doing is wrong. And even their own people say it. So I think, honestly, Charlie Kirk was fed up and really getting to a breaking point where, he had this interview with Megyn Kelly that we're going to replay because it's not the whole clip that they played. It's more shorter. But you can see the frustration, bro. Like, he's trying to, he's trying to, come off like, oh, I'm not, pro-Hamas, but I'm also, getting tired of this, that, and the third. So it's he also trying to be careful of what he's saying, and that's how you know that these people really do have some type of hold on people. It's crazy. But, hey, let's get into this last video with Young Turks talking about a little bit of this whole Charlie Kirk situation. But it is odd, though. I was just crazy because I was talking to my wife earlier, and I was telling her, I was like, yo, it is kind of weird, looking at Erica Kirk and just, I don't know, it just seems odd. You would think that, now you can say everybody grieves different, but it just don't seem like, it seemed like when she had the what was that, the memorial, and even when she did the speech on Charlie Kirk's show a couple days later, the tears and the crying seemed forced. It didn't seem organic, And I noticed it, and I was just like, maybe she grieves different. But it's she's on the Charlie Kirk show when she's all smiles, and it's it doesn't seem to me you try to put yourself in people's shoes, and I've seen people go through these type of things, not assassinations, but I've seen people lose people, and you just don't you just see it I don't know, bro. It is, I'm gonna just say it's weird though. It's a lot of little shit that's going on with Charlie Kirk and this whole situation that is, you can't lie, bro. It's weird. Let's get into this last video.
The behavior by Alot, both privately and publicly, are pushing people like you and me away. I have text messages.
I'm only playing this small. I'm only playing this again because it's a shorter clip. So.
And calling me an anti-Semite. I am learning biblical Hebrew and writing a book on the Shabbat. I honor the Shabbat, literally the Jewish Sabbath. It is dozens of times.
Did he say that he had? Hold on, let me run this back real quick. My bad.
The behavior by Alot, both privately and publicly, are pushing people like you and me away. I have text messages, Megyn, calling me an anti-Semite. I am learning.
He said he has text messages. So in order, I don't see him giving his number out publicly. So the people that he is dealing with are calling him an anti-Semite.
Learning biblical Hebrew and writing a book on the Shabbat. I honor the Shabbat, literally the Jewish Sabbath. It is dozens of texts.
Yes.
Then we start to say, hold the boat here. And to be fair, some of my really good Jewish friends are like, that's not all of us, it's all, but these are leaders too, though, right? These are stakeholders, right?
Well, back in August, Megyn Kelly spoke to Charlie Kirk about some of the extreme pressure that they both were facing in order to agree with anything and everything that the Israeli government demanded of them. And the topic actually came back again yesterday with Megyn Kelly essentially referencing their exchange on social media. But all that did was lead to a fresh round of backlash toward Kelly, including from a group of vocal critics who absolutely demanded that she disavow Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and essentially sever ties with them. And I have to say, whatever you might think about all the different figures involved in this story, I am gonna give Megyn Kelly major props for her reaction, her response. So we'll get to them in a second, but first, a bit of context. So the right wing has been debating this letter that Charlie Kirk sent to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in May of this year. Now, Netanyahu had referenced that letter, or at least one part of that letter, in interviews that he did shortly after Charlie Kirk was violently and viciously assassinated. And he also claimed that Charlie Kirk was, a huge supporter, highly supportive of Israel. Others like Owens and Carlson, though, disputed that narrative. Okay, so look, I'll give you guys a little bit of background. I don't think that I'm disclosing anything that's not allowed, but if you guys can remember, I was on Tucker Carlson's show at one point this year, and I got a text message from Tucker Carlson shortly after it aired. And he told me that Charlie Kirk loved it. He thought it was an excellent conversation. And Charlie would like you to go on his show to talk about these issues. And so it was basically Tucker's way of letting me know that Charlie Kirk liked what I had to say about Israel and wanted to discuss it further on his podcast. Now, obviously, I hadn't gone on Charlie Kirk's podcast before he was assassinated, but I do think that he had criticisms of what Israel is carrying out in Gaza. He had been on the record, he was very vocal against invading Iran for a regime change war. Now, the full letter has come out and I've read it. And to be honest with you, that letter does not make it appear as though Charlie Kirk hated Netanyahu. But there had been other criticisms that he had either uttered himself, not as strongly in terms of criticism, but he had slowly but surely started criticizing some of the conduct of the Israeli government. That's not really shocking or surprising if you've been paying attention to this story. Now, in that letter, for the most part, Kirk shied away from any strong criticism of Israel. Instead, he advised Netanyahu and his government to essentially work on social media outreach in order to stop young conservative Americans from turning against Israel. And so yesterday, Kelly posted about her conversation with Kirk, writing, "The Charlie Kirk letter to Bibi is interesting for obvious reasons, but if you want to hear Charlie in his own words speaking to a friend regarding his feelings on Israel and the pressure on him, it's all here on August 6th. No filter needed. Just listen to him." And he was very upset in that conversation because he felt that the criticism that he had leveled against the Israeli government had led to smears against him, allegations that he's anti-Semitic. You get the picture. But rather than address the substance of Megyn Kelly's post, she was told by multiple people that she has to absolutely wash her hands of Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. So here's one of the responses. Florida Dad wrote on X, "If you can't separate yourself from Candace Owens, many of us are going to separate ourselves from you. We do not have to align with everyone that claims to be of the right when their motives and history are as shady as hers." And Kelly actually responded to that post in particular, saying, "Look at this. No, I have no obligation to separate myself from anyone. I run my own media company and my own show. That show is where I express my own opinions, and I will decide what not to opine on. If you need me to condemn Candace or Tucker for their opinions in order to listen to me, then I may not be for you. He's a close friend and she is under enough pressure without gratuitous shots from me. My fight is with the left, not these two." I didn't like that very last part. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all Americans. So let's have a discussion about what suits Americans as opposed to what's the best for Israel and Israel supporters. But nonetheless, overall, I really appreciated that message. She caught some heat from others as a result of that response. I'll go to that in a minute, but Cenk, I wanted to get your thoughts first.
Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts, but I'm also curious about the audience's thoughts here because we've got an interesting live audience that's mixed politics. So we're doing something on the live chat, and I like it when you guys are part of the show. Will Megyn Kelly gain or lose support because of this? Okay, and I'm curious what you guys think of that. I think if she sticks with it, and there's an interesting update here about a rumor regarding Megyn Kelly that I'm going to get to in a second. But if she sticks with the stance, I think she'll gain support. In fact, to that point, Anna, I think that the Florida dad guy and all those things, other than a couple of folks who are actual influencers that we know their names and they, stand with Israel, etc.
C-Wag, what up? There he is. Yeah, I wanted to see about this whole Charlie Kirk thing. Let's get back to this video. What the hell going on? Video.
I think all the rest of them, I don't think they're real right-wingers. I mean, they might be right-wingers who are pro-Israel, but they're mainly Israel firsters, right? So the Israel first crowd does this hilarious thing where they're like, well, everyone on the right loves Israel. And so if you're criticizing Israel, or you're not condemning Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens for criticizing Israel, then you know what? All of the right wing is gonna leave you. All right, well, let's see how that turns out. Our audience is guessing that 71, 72% of you that they're not going to leave, that she's going to gain support for not criticizing Tucker and Candace, etc. Right? And that's exactly what Netanyahu's in a panic over. He's like, oh, we're losing them, right? So there was a rumor today, and which she vehemently denies, and I hope that she's telling the truth tonight. And it's her denial made me believe that she is telling the truth.
Yo, is it me, or is it like when people be like so adamant on, people not fucking with a certain person, like it makes you fuck with them, or at the minimum look into why, you know what I'm saying? So all of this criticism that I've been seeing Candace Owens get from the black community, from pro-Israel people, her channel is still huge. It's bigger than a lot of people's, to be honest. So she's doing something right, and I haven't seen anything that make me question her integrity. Yo, what's going on with the camera, bro?
CBS was going to offer her a large contract. Now, remember, CBS bought by pro-Israel zealots, and they also bought free press and they said they said in the New York Post that they're overpaying for free press because they're pro-Israel, right? So now if they go around and go, hey, you know what? We know how to stem the tide. We'll grab Megyn Kelly and a couple other big right wingers because we really need to hold the wall on the right wing. And we'll just bribe them. We'll give them 20 million, 40 million a year. And it seems like a normal contract. They used to have those kind of giant contracts in TV back in the day when TV made a lot of money. Nobody will notice. But that way we'll say, hey, you know what? Oh, we are not telling you to be pro-Israel. We are just saying we are going to give you a lot of money, right? Just like we did with free press. But Megyn Kelly says, no, that rumor's nonsense. I didn't go to CBS. They didn't make an offer, etc. But I am a little worried that that's the next strategy. But there is one strategy they're getting massively wrong, Anna. And this whole thing of that they've done to the left for the entirety of our lives. If you criticize Israel an inch, anti-Semite, cancel them, fire them, right? And then later arrest, deport, etc. Now, when you do it to the right, you're doing it to the wrong hombres. Guys who've been called racist and this and sexist and every other word 1,000 times over. That stuff bounces off of them. In fact, it makes them hate you. So Israel,
that's a good point.
Please do us a favor and keep calling Megyn Kelly and Tucker and everyone else anti-Semites. Call all the right-wing influencers anti-Semites, because then the country will be in favor of the 90% in favor of the Palestinians within a couple of months. And that's partly what's spreading this like wildfire. They don't realize that they're adding fuel to the fire. They're like, oh, now all of you.
Yeah, I agree with that take, to be honest with you. I think more so now, like I've been seeing a lot of people talk about Israel, not in a good way, and talking about a lot of this stuff with Charlie Kirk, and just how much involved they're in America, like especially Young Turks, like Caspera and they both be going in on Israel. Like they whole joint is like they definitely don't fuck with Israel whatsoever. But they be dropping some shit. Both Crash Test show, those were so good. Crash 2's show, yeah, I fuck with Alex Jones. Alex Jones is serious. He's as a journalist, he's like, to me, he's like top tier journalist. Like he really is the guy that's gonna go get information. Like you like, how the fuck did he crashed it? I gotta see that joint. Yeah, Turks, he stay arguing with motherfuckers, bro. He funny. But on this particular issue though, they have been making some valid points. So, like I'm not too far anywhere. I just listen to things and I get my own opinion on it. So I could play Young Turks on my podcast and I don't feel no type of way. But I don't agree with a lot of shit that Turks be talking about. He talk about a lot of bullshit. He be pushing bullshit too, especially on Trump. But hey, let me see.
You right wingers, you're all terrible people. You hate Jews. You are full of hate. We should cancel you, right?
Burned out.
Good luck with that strategy. I think that's a terrible strategy. I probably shouldn't say anything. Oh no, Israel, please do not do that.
I know, it's just so short-sighted. And I think part of the problem for Israelis who carry out that tactic is it worked for so long because it's always been the left side of the political aisle that's been critical of Israel's conduct and treatment of the Palestinian people. Now you have a growing number of right-wing voices who are willing to speak out against it, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, obviously Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. Megyn Kelly is still very much supportive of Israel, but
Hey, the way that motherfucker he becoming like he is psychic. Yo, when he said what was that? Oh, he was talking about how they were gonna riot or something. He said something like 3 months before it happened. And that shit like happened verbatim. So you would think, but I think honestly, he just got some major sources within the government and different places. Like he's definitely embedded in Washington and all of that shit. So he definitely got like reliable sources that are in certain departments and all of that. That's why he's able to like really get fucking information.
He was willing to float the idea that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad asset, as did Charlie Kirk, by the way. And so I think you make a really great point about how calling them anti-Semites or Jew haters isn't going to work.
Hold on, Mossad, right? That's Israel, right? Right, so hold on. It just made me think of something. Because that just made me that's kind of genius though. So if he is so hold on, am I right, yo? See what with that whole Mossad thing? Is that Israel? Because if Jeffrey Epstein was basically an asset for Israel, right? Then it would make sense on why presidents and certain people in high places were going to Epstein Island doing things that they were doing, because that's how he was getting people, blackmail basically, or some type of shit on you for the Israeli government. So maybe that's why they got so much power and grip on. Am I bugging? Just made me think
the same way that it has for the left. In fact, it's probably going to have the opposite opposite reaction. But in regard to the reactions to Megyn Kelly's response, to calls to sever her relationship with Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, Jonah Goldberg says, so you will condemn anti-Semites on the left, not because they're anti-Semites, but because they're on the left. But you won't condemn anti-Semites who are on the right or your friends because they're not? Okay.
Damn, good looks. Yo, so that kind of makes sense now. Because I've been sitting here tripping. Like, yo, why is these people have so much of a grip on America. And I'm like, now that just triggered my brain when she said that. When she said that about Jeffrey Epstein, it made me think like, oh, so that's how they were probably getting blackmail information on, presidents, congresspeople, celebrities even. Oh, this shit get deep.
At least that's a position, I guess. I don't think she actually believes, as I'm in the same camp, by the way, she doesn't believe that Tucker Carlson is an anti-Semite. I don't believe for a second that Tucker Carlson is an anti-Semite. I just don't. Nah. I think Tucker Carlson cares about the United States. Yeah. I think like any other human being who sees endless videos and photos of little children maimed and slaughtered, he's had a negative reaction to that. And it's not about identity. It's not about religion. It's not about the Jews. It's about a specific Israeli government that is completely unhinged and carrying out atrocities with impunity. And he's willing to speak out against that. And the idea that he should be smeared as an anti-Semite for having a problem with a country that uses our weapons to carry out said atrocities is insane to me. So I'm glad that Megyn Kelly isn't falling for that trap. Joel Berry responds, loyalty to friends above all else is an admirable trait. I actually agree with that. It makes you a good friend. I'm not sure that's a luxury afforded to trustworthy journalists, though. Well, Joel, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. For me, the fact that she's unwilling to disavow and sever ties with people who she probably doesn't even think are anti-Semitic because they're not is a good thing. And then we'll end with this exchange between Kelly and Konstantin Kisin, who of course is very supportive of the Israeli state. He says, the problem with this approach, which many on the right are taking, is that this is exactly how the left allowed its own extremists to first flourish and then to become the face of the entire movement. If you agree with Candace and Tucker, people will respect that. But to many of us, their behavior is so extreme and so deranged that the idea that it can be simply ignored because your fight is with the left doesn't wash. So I'm curious, Konstantin, a video went viral yesterday featuring a doctor at Nasser Hospital getting shot and killed with a drone attack. He got shot through a hospital window. The Israelis used a drone to do it. There's video. He's a doctor. He was in the hospital working. Is that not extreme and deranged? And more importantly, why don't you ever speak out about those atrocities? Because I sure as hell believe that you would speak out against that atrocity if it was committed by Hamas. If Hamas had that type of weaponry and did the same thing to an Israeli doctor inside an Israeli hospital, I would speak out against that atrocity because that's a disgusting act. But for some reason, it's more important to hear Megyn Kelly disavow other right-wing voices because they're not playing along with this dog and pony show in regard to the Israeli government and their military operations in Gaza and the West Bank. Yeah. And then she responded with, the more, oh God, I love, this is like my favorite tweet of hers of all time because it resonates with me so much. The more one insists that I say what one demands me to, the more committed I get in my refusal. I need everyone to put that in their pipe and smoke it, not just in regard to this context and this story, but just in general as it pertains to, yes, Megyn Kelly, but also me. Back to you, Cenk.
Yeah, so a lot to say about this. So I saw the same video of the doctor. He got shot in the head, by the way. Israel didn't claim he's a terrorist or anything. They're like, no, we're just randomly executing doctors in Gaza. By the way, it's a twofer. Not only do you murder the doctor, but you also prevent him from treating injured Palestinians and kids and stuff like that, so they can die too. The Israeli government at this point are obvious terrorists. They have a worse civilian kill ratio than Hamas does, and they've killed 500 times the number of children. So it is a terrorist state right now, and if you're offended by that and want to call me an anti-Semite, I laugh at you. I laugh at you at the top of my lungs. I think you're a buffoon who's a racist and a bigot against Palestinians, and you don't mind them being murdered, and I find you to be morally repugnant. So what's interesting to me is that the right wing hasn't experienced this at all. Like, that's such an amazing thing. Like, we've experienced it our whole lives because I guess they've never ever criticized Israel before. And there's a reason why. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But now that for the first time they just smidge of criticism to Israel, boom, they get hit with the same blast of, you're an anti-Semite, cancel them, ruin them, right? And they're like, whoa, what is this? Well, welcome to our world. That's the world we've been living in this whole time. And so thank you for mustering up the courage to criticize a foreign government, especially when you're on the right. That should be a relatively...
Yeah. You know, shout out to Young Turks. I put their joint in there. You know, I slide by their joint every once in a while, see what they talking about. But they've been going crazy on Israel. They do not fuck with Israel. But I want to play this real quick.
In this country, we have rights against searches.
I ran across this and I wanted to play it the other day, but I didn't get to it. But I wanted to see how ridiculous.
Effectively, right for Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know. What I'm asking, hold on. I want to make.
Let me back it up.
Or is it unfortunate, or is it a violation of their rights? Is the question? Because I mean, in this country, we have rights against searches and illegal searches.
You're suggesting these children should be effectively human shields for Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know.
What I'm
asking, hold on. I want to make it clear. I know that Trinidad and Tobago and gangs and whatever, it's a catch-all to treat people however you want, to go in there and shred the Constitution or whatever else it is.
You know, why they say the same shit all the time? Now, I skipped a lot of it, but they was basically talking about them going in Chicago, and they said they're using Black Hawks and they're coming down military style. They kidnapping black folks. They throwing them in the back of vans and separating families and all that good shit.
Is that you want to do. What I'm asking you is this. Do you think that children should have been zip-tied and pulled out of an apartment complex and traumatized like that? Yes or no?
I don't think children should be put in harm's way by transnational gangs.
Just answer the question. Yes or no? Do you think that children...
I don't accept the premise of your question.
I'm asking
the government's not putting children in harm's way. Trinidad and Tobago...
Real calm now. Real calm. Like
they're the ones putting children in harm's way.
Gentlemen and gentlemen, we have a responsibility for the way we treat people with the power that we have here in America. And we have a standard that we should treat human life with. And I'm asking you very clearly, concisely, should children be treated that way? Does Scott Jennings like that?
I don't accept the premise of your question.
All right, cool.
Yeah, they ask the most retardedest questions ever, bro. And my thing is this, when it comes to this whole thing, bro, Trump made it clear what he wanted to do. He wanted to go after illegal immigrants and get them out of the country, right? A side note to it, he's realizing how much crime is going on, especially in these Democrat-run cities. And it's not getting better. They can tell you that the numbers show that crime is going down and all this good stuff, but people are still dying. Black bodies are dropping more than any other demographic of people. So at the end of the day, I don't see harm in getting illegal immigrants who are soaking up American resources and get them out of the country, right? And if they want to come back through the right way, they can, right? It's nothing wrong with that. And basically trying to make the streets safer. When you got your residents in the neighborhood, and this is the thing that they don't show you on these shows. They won't show you all of the residents that are saying, no, we want the National Guard to come in Chicago and Memphis and all of these different cities because we don't feel safe here. They won't show them videos. They'll show you a video of the mayor from Chicago and the governor from Chicago in the nice part of, that's what they do. They'll go into the nice parts of Chicago, Memphis, and all of these different states. There's nice parts in every state, and there's hoods in every state. So, but they won't go in them parts though. You won't see none of these mayors. The mayor of Chicago talking about how police is all fucked up or whatever the case may be. Called him a sickness, but the motherfucker got 3 police officers outside of his home guarding his house. They so much of a sickness, but you using the resources for personal use. These people are crazy, bro.
I don't believe that the premise of your question is accurate. I would ask you back. Should children be allowed to live in an apartment building with Trinidad and Tobago? Should the entire community of Chicago have to live with Trinidad and Tobago because they hide behind these children?
But here's the thing.
That's my question.
I think the answer to that is clear. No. They should not be put in harm's way. But the difference is in this situation is I don't want to be N.G.L.A. Aragua. I don't want my law enforcement to act like N.G.L.A. Aragua. That is the distinction.
You don't want to Bro, oh my God, bro, these people kill me. Why is uniform officers with face masks on like so crazy now? Oh my God. Bro, they've been doing this shit forever, bro. Forever. Like literally forever, bro. Like jumping out the back of fucking UPS vans, coming out of unmarked Ford Tauruses and all types of shit, bro. I done seen it all. This is not like abnormal shit. This is so normal, bro. It's just that these people come from La La Land and they don't live on planet Earth, and plus they just want to push a narrative that they're out here kidnapping people, they're taking American citizens and throwing them in ICE facilities, when it's just not true, bro.
But
I just want to know which side of these people on.
Let's just move on.
No, but can't law enforcement figure out a way? I don't think this is the first time children have been in an environment where dangerous people have been around them. And I'm most certain that in most of those circumstances, those children aren't zip tied and carried out like animals. What I am wondering is, okay, let's put this fact pattern on any other placement. Let's put it on a school, right? What if there was a gang member in a school? And by this calculation, it would seem like the children in the school, in order to get that one gang member or two gang members, would get.
It's not one gang member. It's 37
well,
people in an apartment building.
It's a large apartment building. That's part of the fact pattern here. I mean, here's another one from our reporting. Tenants said it appears everyone in the building was detained by federal officers, including U.S. citizens. It was scary, said one, because I had never had a gun in my face. That person lives in the building. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me, did I have any warrants? I told them, no, I didn't. Fisher, this person says, she was handcuffed anyway before being released around 3 a.m. and was told anyone with outstanding warrants, even if it was unrelated to immigration, would not be released. So people live in apartment buildings all over this country.
I promise that.
Is that where
Hold on, wait a second.
Should I just go to an apartment building and hide?
Wait. I'm talking about the way that citizen of this country was treated. By the way, I just want to be clear. I think that everybody that's created in the image of God should be treated with respect. And I thought that part of the American ideal was that, but that's gone. I promise y'all will still be invited to Mar-a-Lago if you say that it is wrong that children were zip-tied and that American people, American citizens, were detained without any warrant or suspicion.
Briefly detained? In an effort to get 37 N.G.L.A. Aragua members?
So tell me,
what you're suggesting is that no enforcement can take place.
Would you be okay being detained so that the gang members, would you be okay with your rights being violated and you be held until 3 a.m. with your family member not knowing why? Is that okay? Because that's not okay with me.
Everybody here seems to believe that if you're N.G.L.A. Aragua, you can go hide in an apartment building, and because there are other people there, you just get to be left alone. That is not a reasonable enforcement position.
There's another option here, and it's actually an option that's utilized by law enforcement every single day in this country. When they are looking for violent people, they go look for those violent people. They do not.
Yo, I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here because they're claiming that, you know. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't true, but every video, I've looked at all of these videos. All I've seen is people allege that, listen, this is 2025. Anything that I've seen people videotape people dying, literally. When PNB Rock got shot, they literally filmed it, didn't try to help him or nothing. They pulled their phones out. Oh, this is a great moment in America where PNB Rock just got shot in front of me. Oh my God, let me pull my camera out and film it because I'm a filmmaker. People film everything. If you're telling me, my thing is this, I'm not saying that this didn't happen. I'm just saying I'm trying to, like, bro, when you make claims, just because somebody said this happened doesn't mean it happened, bro. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. Like, where is the proof? All of these raids happen. Nobody has a video. I'm literally looking on this joint. Every video I clicked on 7 videos so far. I've clicked on 7 videos, and every video was a person alleging this. They were just reading some news for their little channel, and that was it. Like, I haven't seen a video yet. I've seen adults being handcuffed. I haven't seen the kids. Yeah, I'm just not seeing them. I literally specifically put it in my search bar, kids zip tied doing raids in Chicago, and I haven't seen nothing. Like, I'm trying to find it, man. I don't see it. You know, I just feel like they want to make things sound. I believe they're raiding homes. They're getting certain intel information. And listen, bro, are they going to be perfect? Are they going to maybe, mistakenly identify somebody, or, maybe get a wrong address or anything is like, we're like, they're not going to be perfect during this whole thing, especially when you got literally like half the nation almost fucking going against you, trying to stop you from doing your job. So that doesn't make it any better neither. So the difficulty in pulling off these things is already hard, and then because you got to deal with the public. And then, the intel might be wrong, anything, but I'm not saying that makes certain things okay. I'm just saying that, bro, these people are just doing their job. And the people on the left are making it damn near impossible for them to do their job. And then you got people like Abby Phillips getting up here lying, just blatantly lying. And this is what they do. They pull a narrative and literally have it running on everything. And then, of course, social media going to follow it because, everybody got their little channels like myself, and, we're going to follow the latest news. But they're not going to report accurate information. I would never report that if I didn't actually see kids being zip-tied. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have said nothing about it. Or if I would have said it, I would have said allegedly this is what's happening. But just because you're getting information from people who were so-called there doesn't mean that it's 100% accurate information.
Subject the people around those violent people who have nothing to do with them, with arrest, with guns in their faces, with being searched, with being zip-tied and handcuffed and detained. Every day in America, law enforcement does their jobs, and they don't do it like this. So why is suddenly this okay?
Every day.
Yes, they do, bro. Yes, they do.
In America, you're not necessarily dealing with the most violent people in the hemisphere.
Yes,
we're
not.
So who is living in this?
Scott, there are violent people who are right here in this country, American citizens. They are in gangs. They were born here. Their parents were born here. Their grandparents were born here.
Believe me, we know.
Those people are dealt with by law enforcement every day.
Same way.
It's a real basic question.
Literally,
if you lived in an apartment building and there happened to be somebody who was guilty of a terrible crime in that building, and law enforcement barged in, guns blazing, and put every single person in that apartment building under arrest, you would be fine with that.
Hold on,
including you and your family.
Not everybody is under arrest. They arrested 37 people. They arrested 37 people.
You see the narrative? She said that they arrested everybody in that building. You're fucking lying. You're fucking lying. First of all, a lot of these people are probably like, in the same type of areas, because they're together or whatever. So I can see like a building having multiple illegal immigrants in it, depending on certain intel that they're probably getting. So I can see that many arrests being made in one single building. But to sit there and say that, like, bro, they're not doing that, bro. They're just not doing that. And if they come and raid your house, everybody's getting momentarily locked up. Everybody, bro. I had the crib raided. Everybody's getting locked up. It doesn't matter. And yeah, bro, these people are so disingenuous, bro.
This person was sleeping in their bed, and they were detained. They were put in handcuffs and detained.
Neither you nor I was there.
Abby Phillips
but I know this. Now 37
you and your family,
violent people are now off the street.
Scott, you and your family, you are.
These are all hypotheticals. She's talking hypotheticals. This is not reality. This is not real. This didn't happen. And she wants people to understand where she's coming from.
Apartment building. You and your family, you would be fine with your liberty being held up, your kids, your wife, your children, being detained for any amount of time because somebody in that building was a criminal, you'd be fine with that?
You are vastly oversimplifying what's happening here. There are scores of illegal immigrants in the building. I think sometimes we have to simplify things so that we actually understand what we're talking about. Because I do think that this is a problem now for the rest of the country. People are going about their lives and they are not responsible for the crimes of other people. And yet in this world in which ICE is operating like this, they are being detained for other people's crimes. Willingness to accept a whole lot of collateral violation of rights of anybody, whether you're American citizens or not, because there are many rights in this country that are in the Constitution that it doesn't matter if you're a citizen or not, you're still entitled to them.
Yo, Abby Phillips, man, they all a joke. Big fucking joke. I don't understand it, bro. I just still don't understand why they go so hard for these people, bro. God damn it, man. All of these things that are happening can be so simple and can be, like, just so simple, bro. Like, if they just let these people do their job like they've been doing. Man, oh man, oh man. It's like, bro, I be trying to wrap my brain around some of this shit. I just can't, bro. It's literally retarded, bro. Literally fucking retarded, bro. And it's all they do is report fake racism, fake propaganda. They stretch the truth and make it something that it isn't. Like, it's, bro. This is crazy, bro. This is actually a sad time, bro. Literally. Like, where we don't know what, nobody in America knows what a woman is. Putting on a dress is normal now. Men knocking out women in sports. Israel, finding out Israel running America. Well, at least I'm just finding out about him late to the party. Fucking assassinating fucking influencers. Trying to assassinate presidents, like propaganda. They flying 20 million illegal immigrants in the country. Just like, yo, bro, it's so much bullshit going on in America, bro. It's sad. Like, but this is what they want, bro. They want division, chaos, and they're getting it. They're definitely getting it. And all it's about, bro, is Trump. It's all Trump's fault. Trump did it. You're like, I seen the guy. My bad. I seen the mayor Brandon Johnson say he was breaking down. It didn't make him look good. He was breaking down the stats of how many murders Chicago had in specific years, right? He went from mid 2000s to 2015 and so forth, right? And like the numbers were high. Like we're talking about like 700, 800, 900. Like, and to present day, these numbers are still in the hundreds. And this dude is acting like it's not an issue. Like, it's so crazy that 900 people, mostly probably 85 to 90% black people, and you're a black man, are dying in your city annually. And because the number went down to 550, it's a great day in Chicago. Like, bro, this is the thinking of these people, bro. Like, seriously, like, oh my God. They care about people's rights and all this shit. But meanwhile, the baby girl was getting knocked out in the Olympics. Baby girl damn near lost half their face in a volleyball match against a nigga, but they care about people's rights so much, and they care about humanity. You know what I mean? It's crazy, bro. These people are crazy, man. But yo, that's the show for today, man. Fuck with the show, man. Hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button. Help your boy get monetized. I'm on the road to monetization, and without you, I cannot get there. So please hit that subscribe button for me. Also hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy drop a dope video. This your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Until next time, I'm out.
Millionaire thoughts. Billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.